Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 here in the pristine, untouched wilderness of the Calmlands. We'll roll dice to decide which animal is affected, and then we roll another dice, and so if I've got 100 chickens, I lose a minimum of, say, 10% of our animals, plus a D20, because I've got some D20s here. I've got all sorts of dice, so I've got some D20s. So I would say, like, a minimum of 10% of our animals, plus 1 D20 per 100 animals. So if I've got 200 chickens, I have to roll 2 D20s, and then lose that number of chickens. Now, we're sensible, we've got insurance, so when we lose our chickens, we can just sell the chickens, but then we've got to wait for new chickens to breed and, you know, sort of level up a bit. So we do get a bit of money out of it. However, it's not an ideal situation. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to work that one yet. Depends how much money we get. I go to the animal dealer here. Chicken there is 50. I think, I'm not sure if you get more or less than 50. But, I mean, we'll be buying chicks. Because they... well, it takes them 6 months to turn into fully grown chickens. Maybe we'd be better off buying chickens to start off with. We would definitely want to get a rooster. We'll deal with that in a minute. What I want to do first, though, is I want to go in here and big bags. Now, wheat is 1,400 euros for 1,000 litres. This ain't cheap stuff. What have I got in a way that... ooh, that's cheaper. Someone did point out that, you know, I'm always about trying to get a balance, and I don't want to use a lot of certain things because I feel like it's a bit cheaty getting these things cheaper, and then I'll jump in on a mod and get something really, really cheap. Fair point, I suppose. I would argue that, you know, I'm just shopping around for a good deal, and you do sometimes find good deals. So we've got this wheat right here. It's at 1,400, but there is another farmer that... he lives a little way from here, but he's nice enough. I think he's got a little bit of a crush on Sen, though, because he offered me wheat at 1,400, but then when Sen went and spoke to him, and she had a little chat, she took him an apple pie as well, so she gave him this lovely apple pie of hers, and I think he must have really enjoyed it, because... and... maybe he's just got a bit of a crush on him, because he offered 150 euros per bag off of the wheat per 1,000 litres, so we can get it for this. Yep. So we're going to do that. We're going to get 4,000 litres. That's 3,750. I think that's probably enough to last us until we do our harvest. We'll see. We'll buy 4,000 litres now, and then we can always come back and we can buy more. Because the guy has said that he's more than happy to sell us some more. Although I very much got the impression that he wanted Sen to be the one going to pick up the grain, because he wanted to speak to her again. She is busy at the moment, so she said for, you know, she didn't really care. Why don't I do it? She'll go and drop him off another apple pie some other time. So we're going to... quickly load this in here. The fellow who sold this to us, he's brought it over and he's just using his loader to dump it into the trailer for us so that we don't have to have it in bags. It's very kind of him. And we can run his back, and then we can get our chickens, which means that we'll be able to start having eggs, and we can sell some eggs. And that's going to be a little bit of regular income. I can't remember how many chickens that this pen takes. I genuinely can't remember. I think this is 400 chickens in this pen. If this is 400 chickens that this pen holds, one, I don't think 4,000 litres is going to be enough to hold us if I was to get all of the chickens. I'm not getting all of the chickens. I'm not getting 400 chickens now. We'll let them sort of populate their own numbers. But if I do that and we have like disease in the chickens and we lose the 10% plus a D20 for each 100 we got, there's 4 D20s. Now obviously an average roll on 4D20s is going to... 10 is an average roll. So we would say that we would expect to lose 10%, which is 40 chickens, plus the average roll from the other chickens, which means that we're expecting to lose at least 80 chickens. But these are D20s. It could go either way. We could roll 20s. We could roll 4 20s, which is another 80 chickens on top of our 40. We could lose 120 chickens in one go. That's a lot of chickens to lose. That is a lot of chickens to lose. So I'm going to tip out 4,000 litres. Oh, it's going out the back. I realise it's set to the back. That's right. But that's just one idea for the the bad thing that can happen with the random event. A popular random event that I did, well, one that I thought was, you know, quite sensible, is one of our vehicles breaks down for the month, and we've either got to pay X amount to have the vehicle working again, or it just takes too long to fix. Now, it could work. It could actually work, because each crop has got a 2-month harvest window. So if we had that happen, there would have to be a fail-safe on it. There would definitely have to be a fail-safe on it, because if my combine breaks down, and it's going to take the rest of that month to fix the combine, then... And I'm thinking that we would do a random event on each season change rather than each month, because each month is going to end up sort of getting a little bit too much, I think. But if, you know, we had a combine breakdown, we wouldn't, sort of the first day of the season or one day of the season, it's out, or even half the season, so we can't use it until midday on the second day. That could be a bit better. I'm like, if we lose our tractor at that point, and we've got no tractor for a whole month and a half, that's possibly going to hurt us a lot more. So maybe there'll be a fail-safe on that we've got to... It is 400 chickens. I would say that the fail-safe would be that there's a certain amount of money that we pay out to repair the vehicle, and then we don't have to worry about it. So if I buy... I'm going to get 100 chickens as adults. So there's 50. And then I get another 50. So it's... Oh, it changed. What's going on? Why did you change? Oh, time going on. It's because time's still ticking by. And the value of the chickens went up ever so slightly. So we do that. And then I want a rooster. I don't want 60 roosters at all. I just want one. I want one single solitary rooster. Buy. There we go. Right, we'll leave it like that. The chickens will now populate themselves. So, in... Oh, they only have 7,500 litres in here anyway. But yeah, the chickens will now populate themselves. Got a rooster in there. The chickens will breed slowly over time. And they should also provide us with a few eggs as well once they get going. But there's only a really small area here for egg collection. So I don't know how many pallets we're going to have there that will spawn eventually. We'll wait and see on that point. It is 20 past 3 in January, which means that it's very nearly almost dark, because it gets dark at about 4 o'clock in January. Well, because for me, assuming that this is roughly the same. So I'm going to bring you round here. Let's see if I can reverse this back in here. I think I did already manage to do this once. Let's try it again. The key to this is not allowing that turntable to turn too sharply. You've got to be correcting it before it even starts turning. So you've got to be psychic, and that's where your experience at handling the trailer comes in, because you can already tell what angle that trailer is going to do before it even starts turning, and that's how you're able to keep it lined up straight. That. Almost like that. It sort of looked good there. I feel that I looked like I was almost knew what I was doing with that bit. I mean, I didn't quite. I did make a little bit of a mistake, but I think it was alright. So we're going to sleep. I don't think we want to be hanging around very much more. Let's go and see what February is like, because January is a little bit plain at the moment. We jump on into February. Snow! Did you know that here in the UK, the magic snow? Alright, we've got to let the map catch up with what it's doing. Did you know the bank holiday that you are most likely to have snow on the ground here in the UK is not Christmas? We've only got this idea of white Christmases, and Christmas cards have always got stuff on with, you know, white Christmases and showing snow. It's quite unusual, actually, to have snow around Christmas time. It sort of became a thing because there were several white Christmases around the time of Charles Dickens, and he talked about it a bit in some of his stories, and it was romanticized a huge amount, and that's basically why we have all these things with regarding snow, because of Charles Dickens. At least that's what I've been led to believe. Oop, steady. That was not part of the master plan. How am I should have pressed the button faster. How am I supposed to level that one up? I want to go and get the... Okay. This is gonna be a problem. What am I supposed to do with this? Can I get it from here, maybe? Oh, there we go. Right, let's just pretend that didn't happen. So yeah, anyway, Charles Dickens and snow, but yeah, the bank holiday that you're most likely to have snow is Good Friday, not Christmas or New Year, anything like that. It's actually Good Friday, end of March, beginning of April. We're far more likely in the UK to have snow then than we are at Christmas. Just a little statistic for you there. And I want to do Alt-C to turn this on. And there, we've got the lines. Everything is already preloaded. Ready and waiting for us. I need to rotate the plow over and start that one up. I'm going to do a little bit of ploughing in the snow. Like this. I love ploughing in the snow in this game because it does this. It would help if I allowed create fields. So let's try that, shall we? There we go. Let's do that again. There we go. As I was saying, I love ploughing in this game. Look at that. Absolutely love that. And I like the colour of the sky as well. That kind of brown snow cloud look that they've got. That's quite accurate there. I think that's really, really good. And I'm looking at this. See, look at my clothes. I actually feel a little bit cold looking at that, because I don't imagine it, well, especially considering that the front window is open. What, are you mad? Are you... I think he's a fruitcake short of a picnic, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure we should be doing that, having that front window open. He hasn't got a coat on, and he's got the front window. I mean, he's at least wearing gloves. I'll give him that. He's at least got a pair of gloves on, but my goodness me, that looks cold. That genuinely looks cold in there. Now, we're on the continent, so I'm not really sure where on the continent we would say that this would be, but I mean, if it was in the UK, it probably wouldn't be that cold. If it's snowing, it's definitely not gonna be particularly cold, but it's still cold. Like, it's still around freezing. It's only after it's snowed, generally, that then you get temperatures will then drop way down below freezing. So you have it snow, and then it can go either way. It can either warm up and just turn everything into one giant slush puppy, or it gets a lot colder and the surface of the snow freezes absolutely solid and turns the world into a skating rink. What's worse is one worse scenario than that is the snow comes down, warms up slightly and turns into a bit of a slush puppy and then freezes solid. And that basically just turns everything into one solid big lump of ice across the entire world, or at least, you know, bits of the UK, and that's when we have real problem. I mean, we as a country are very poorly equipped for dealing with snow. We just can't cope with it. We just don't have the infrastructure for dealing with snow properly, because we never get snow in any real large quantities. We never get any real amounts of snow coming down in this country anyway, so we're just not used to dealing with it. And then add to that that no one has snow tires, snow chains, anything like that. It's not compulsory. I think some parts of the world, some countries, you're legally required to have snow chains and snow tires. Here in this country, it's actually illegal to drive on the road with snow chains or snow tires. I think that you are still allowed to do so when it has snowed, but I'm not sure about that anymore, because so many of the roads are de-iced anyway. Like, you just, the snow doesn't settle on the road anyway. Like, so I'm genuinely not sure what the law is in this country anymore concerning snow tires and snow chains. I'm pretty sure, though, that you're not allowed to use them anymore because they rip up the tarmac, and they rip it up something awful. So, like, they decided quite some time ago that no, we wouldn't be having that. We get, like, 3 days of the year that has snow every 3 years. And that's literally about it. Like, you can count snow days on one hand, and even then, you probably count up the total snow days across multiple years, and you still only need one hand. So, yeah, I don't believe that you're allowed to use snow chains in this country anymore, even when there is snow on the ground. And snow tires, I think those are the ones that got like little spikes that stick out of them. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to use them either. If you're off-road, you can do what you like. There's no laws when you're off-road, but on the actual tarmac roads, I think that they're quite particular about that now. You used to have snow chains and stuff when it was colder weather and it was more regular snow, but that's changed. The other problem that we frequently face here in the UK is because we don't get below freezing temperatures very often the scenario is that it snows, it warms up, or it's quite warm when it's snowing anyway, so it's already slush puppy status, and then it will freeze overnight, so you'll have a day, maybe two, where it snowed, thawed out and just turned into slush, and then has frozen solid again because it's gotten cold overnight. And that is what causes us the problems. You basically just, the entire country is then one great big slick skating rink. And that's why other countries play video clips of the UK dealing with the snow, because we just can't cope with it. But I would argue that one of the reasons that we can't cope with it is because of the fact that when we do get snow, it very often partially melts and refreezes, which is a lot more difficult to deal with than just a coating of snow. If you've got just plain snow on the ground, it's actually fairly easy to drive on, unless you've had some idiot driving on it before you did. In which case, then you don't drive on. If you drive on fresh snow, it's a lot easier to maintain a grip when you're in a car than it is if you drive on the tracks that someone else has already driven on. A little tip for you, if you do happen to be out driving in it. But it's just one of those things. I know that some of you watching, you have snow all the time. Like, dealing with snow is just not a problem. I've got people who are from Canada and the northern states in the US and places like Norway, Sweden, that sort of place, those sort of places who are watching right now, who are just laughing long and hard at this, because you have snow on the ground and covering your roads for months of the year, and the idea that the world stops functioning because you've got a half an inch, and yes, I do actually mean a half an inch, 1.5 centimeters, 1.25 centimeters of snow on the ground, that's enough to bring my country to a standstill. And I realise that there are many of you right now who just cannot comprehend such a thing, because such a thing just would not happen in your civilized but frozen countries. Well, that's fair enough. Yes, I agree. It does seem somewhat patently ridiculous, but we are all victims of the climate of our own countries. Now, let's bring you back round here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let him... Actually, I'm going to just leave him there turning over, and we're going to go over and have a look at our chickens and see how these bad boys are getting on. And we have one pallet there. That actually looks like there might be room with where that pallet is and the space that we've got out here. There could be room for like 6 pallets here, which would be very cool if we have got that much room. And I think you get something like 1,200 litres per pallet as well. Does look that way. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure how many we get. So at the moment, we're still on 101 animals in here. We've got 3,500 litres of food. So they're doing absolutely fine at the moment. They're doing really well. We're going to go back over to our tractor. There's no eggs to go take. What is the sale price of eggs around here? 1,000 at the moment, the cooperative. It goes all the way up to 1,500 in November. Well, we're in February at the moment, which is actually coming down to the very lowest points. Selling in June is good. You get a little bit of a peak. It does tend to drop down again, and then back up higher still in November. I'm not going to be selling just once per year. I don't think that's something that we want to be doing. I don't think that's the right way to approach this. So let's line you up again. Bring you back that way, and off we go with the whoosh. Now, I don't get this. Why does this tractor start going and just not go anywhere? It's like he's changed gear, but if I take my foot off the accelerator and then go again, he revs up and he's fine. I don't really understand why he does that first little bit. It just doesn't seem to make a huge amount of sense, but, well, that's just the way it is. Slowly getting our field done. I've had about enough of doing this for today, though, so I think what we'll do is we'll pack up the ploughing and we'll go and we'll sleep the night. We'll work up and down the field just once, and then we want to go and sleep the night. Now, our seed drill, we do kind of need to do the cultivating on here, so we're going to need to get our cultivator going. Now that, even though I've got, like, we could be doing... Actually, no, we don't want to be doing stones. And let's rotate that one around. My seed drill is not one that would do very well following a plough. It genuinely wouldn't do very well just following a plough. So, for realism's sake, we do need to be going and cultivating the field once we have cut it all out and we're ready. Now, we're in February at the moment. Once we get up to the other end, I will double check the oats. I think oats can be planted in March and April. So that means that we can... excuse me. That means that we'll be able to start doing the planting tomorrow. And we've got a fair bit of ploughing still to do. Well, we can at least go and get started on doing some of the cultivating. We can sort of get a little bit going around the edge with that one. That means having to use the noisy tractor, though. The hired help is going to do most of that job. It's going to be a lot easier than us doing it. This is the only job that we have to do ourselves. So once we've cut out a field, then all is well with the world. So I'm going to turn off the allow create field. So I'm actually just going to turn the tractor off. I'm going to leave it right there. Just parked in the middle of the field for no apparent reason. And I'm going to have a look over here. So we've got... The cultivator is quite a big cultivator, isn't it? And then we've got that one there. And we want to go and have a look in here. So oats, it is March or April. Now, if I plant them in April, that means we won't be able to harvest them until August. And oats is in our rotation. So we got wheat and canola, and then we've got oats. If we're going to go for corn early on, we do need to be able to buy a corn header for our combine. Which we don't have at the moment, do we? No, that's on my to-buy list, isn't it? Yes. Right. I'm going to work on the assumption that we will be able to afford it, so the big field will end up being planted with corn, although we do need to be able to buy a planter with that, so maybe we won't be able to afford it this time round, so everything will go for flour instead, and that'll earn us a little bit of cash. So we've got oats planting right now, and it doesn't really matter about the corn. So after oats comes wheat, well, it's barley actually, and barley is here, but barley planting is done at the same time. So if I plant the oats late and I don't get them in until April, that goes here, which means that then I need to plant oilseed radish then, and then I can plant the barley then. So we are actually going to be able to do that if we want to. We could leave the oats for another month before we actually get them planted. It is only lunchtime. I kind of feel like we ought to be doing a bit more. I'm playing this on 15 times speed. Alright, let's just move a few things around. Let's at least get the... Come on out of the shed. Ridiculously noisy tractor. We'll at least get the cultivator hitched on, and so that one's ready. Back. Get that one. Barley, that one is, so that's going to be oat now. Where am I going to put this one? I'll put it back in there. This one can just go into the back. Oh no, that's where the other one needs to go. This can go in here for a minute, because the roller is the bit that we use right at the end. And even though we don't have stones anymore, we will still be using the roller, because you get a bonus to your yield when you use the roller, so it is a useful thing to have. Go out this way. See, I like that we've got this outfit on now that we're in the winter. It's fitting. What I don't like... Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.